It's my turn.
Your
Oh,
turn.
you
Yeah,
want to talk about the Brit Hadashah?
Brit Hadashah. Yeah, what have you got for us today?
What have I got? I've got the Brit Hadashah. What we have is in the Torah portion Va'era, Luke 11:14 through 22. And as I was reading and kind of going over this, I think you should have verse 23 in there also. Now, I like to go to Torah portions .org and torahportions.ffoz.org. I like their format, and they put things out there, make it real easy. But I don't know what version they use. It doesn't read right. So I'm going to be reading out of the Complete Jewish Bible, and I'm just going to read through it. Luke 11:14 through 23. He was expelling a demon that was mute. When the demon had gone out, the man who had been mute spoke, and the people were astonished. But some of them said, "It is by Beelzebub, that the ruler of the demons, that he expels the demons." And others, trying to trap him, demanded from him a sign from heaven. But he, Yeshua, knowing what they were thinking, said to them, "Every kingdom divided against itself will be ruined, with one house collapsing on another. So if the adversary too is divided against himself, how can his kingdom survive? I'm asking because you claimed it is by Beelzebul that I drive out the demons. If I drive out demons by Beelzebul, by whom do your people drive them out? So they will be your judges. But if I drive out demons by the finger of God, then the kingdom of God has come upon you. When a strong man who is fully equipped for battle guards his own house, his possessions are secure. But when someone stronger attacks and defeats him, he carries off the armor and weaponry on which the man was depending and divides up the spoils. Verse 23, those who are not with me are against me, and those who do not gather with me are scattering. Now, John and Sandy, real quick, bring you back in real quick. Uh, this whole thing here, what I just read, who would you say were the most blessed people of this whole deal?
Well, of this whole deal, the one that received the deliverance, I think,
Well,
was
I get that. I get that. Okay, besides that, then it would be the people who were astounded, who were marveled by this. In other words, these people, they saw what Yeshua did. They were like happy about it and everything. Then you have people that come up and want to question him and divide him and figure out, oh, was it by the devil or was it by God that you did it? And they wanted to divide between themselves and all of this. And what you have here is people that want to take it so far. They want to take their own religion into detail and try to figure all this stuff out. When in fact, the people that saw this and were marveled by what Yeshua were doing, they got a blessing because they saw Yeshua for who he was. And that stood out to me in this whole thing. Now, when it to me, I see, my thought process anymore, because I've been going to a church for the past 7-8 months, is that I'm now re-seeing some things that I had not seen before. And it has to do with the perception. Now, we talk about our lives, and we live what I say is a messianic lifestyle. And then you have Christians that live a Christian lifestyle, and you have Jewish people that live a Jewish lifestyle. And each one of them being involved fully in who they are, they see things from that perspective and are so heavy with this perspective from this lifestyle that they don't look into the other. And let me just use the word, and I'm fixing to kind of teach on this here pretty soon, is the culture. I interviewed Dan Juster one time, and he told me that those that are Gentiles, that are not Jews in the Messianic Jewish lifestyle, they are welcome to look at the Jewish culture and, enjoy the Jewish culture. But they weren't really supposed to be living that lifestyle, the Torah lifestyle. And so now that gave me a whole new perspective, that ever since I've heard this, I think now you have Christians out there that don't know about us, but as Messianic Jewish, but they do know about Jews, and for the most part are not supposed to be negative towards Jews, but it's still more like those Jews. And when they read the scriptures with the Jews in there, they see it from their Christian perspective, which is, oh, how we wish they would be happy like we are with Jesus. And then you see the Jews, which are like, well, we really don't care what you're doing. We're Jews, and we don't want to even see you. But when we talk about Christians, we use derogatory words. Now, this is my perspective. This is what I notice. And within the Messianic lifestyle, most of us, I would say probably from my perspective, 97% of everybody that's living our lifestyle comes out of the Christian lifestyle. And so we have a pretty good perspective of that, but we had to learn the Jewish culture. We had to learn the Jewish dance, the music, what Torah was, how they perceived Torah, what the difference, like what I'm doing right now and talking about the Brit Hadashah. How does the Brit Hadashah work with Torah and all of that type of thing? So we're building in the Messianic lifestyle a new culture. And when you're looking at this Torah portion, you're looking at, for instance, the people who marveled over the demon that was cast out of this man. These people are ones that they sit back and everything is groovy, but it's groovy from my own culture. Whereas then you have some that say it's the demons that he capped out. Well, I see that as Christians, because that's what they think of as demons, or that's their culture, is the casting out of demons. You don't see that within the Jewish culture. Have you ever heard of a Jew casting out a demon? Not today. You don't, but you hear it in Christianity all the time. And then you have the ones that demanded a sign from heaven. Now, to me, that sounds like the Jewish culture. And so you have right here in this Brit Hadashah the division of the two, and then Yeshua in the middle talking about how you can protect yourself under the armor of God and all that we learn through the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation, and you combine the two, you now have all of this to protect you and what you know and your household and everything. But then there's someone that comes along and attacks you, and you allow that person to attack you and take your spoil and divide up the spoils. How many people are there that go against the Jewish people and their culture, and the Jews know more about the Christian culture than they do, and the Christians allow themselves to even deny Yeshua. So then, verse 23, those who are not with me are against me, and those who do not gather with me are scattering. This is a concept that we need. All three of the cultures, the Christian culture, the Messianic culture, and the Jewish culture, can, if we would incorporate Yeshua's teaching on you either gather or you scatter, if we would understand that and incorporate that into our lives, we could bring the three cultures together and work together. Doesn't mean you have to give up your culture, but you could work those together. And that's my perspective on this.
Yeah, good, Mark. Appreciate that. Uh, you know, it's really interesting in this passage. You were kind of alluding. You didn't say this, but this came into my mind. Facebook. This is like Facebook, where you have the Torah groups, the Messianic Torah groups, the Hebrew Roots Torah groups, and they're just dividing. You know, they're fighting over, well, it means this. No, it means that. And I think it's this. Well, I'm going to defriend you. You can't be part of us because you don't see it the way I see it. And you see these big old long strings of comments and arguments that are going on of division. The same division, the very thing that Yeshua is warning against is that a kingdom divided against itself is laid waste, and a house divided against itself falls. It's like what could happen in Virginia today could be a kickoff to civil war in the United States. Some say the civil war has already started, but it's the dividing of the kingdom, dividing people, dividing cultures, dividing ways of life, dividing, you're this way, so therefore you can't be part of us. And instead of trying to find a place to harmonize and to agree upon and let that be the launching point. And I get this thing about the perspective. Everybody wants to hold on to the perspective that they're right. I don't, Yeshua is just saying, look, if we're supposed to be believers, then we need to unite under one, even though there might be one, it's one tent, one body Messiah. The points of division are not major points if Yeshua is in the center of it all. And I know that's just kind of my thoughts on that. Is besides power play on it, but
if you don't mind, perspective is I use that to validify what I'm saying, but really what it comes down to is culture. Because now just think of that word culture. It incorporates your lifestyle. It's what you do. Now we use the word life, our life this, life that, when in fact it's a lifestyle. And if you'll see the Christian culture, the Messianic culture, and the Jewish culture, and stop and think about those things, if we would stop trying to say I'm right and you're wrong, but take the time to look at the cultures, we would see that they're basically kind of the base thing is the same. We're all using the same Bible. I mean, even Jews have, most Jews have the New Testament in their Bible. They have the Bible. I mean, the Christians have the Jewish part of the Bible. Okay. If we would, if we would look at culture instead of right and wrong, and take the time to bring that together, because that's what Messianics are supposed to do. We come out of the Christian culture and we're learning about the Jewish culture, because that has to do with Torah and it's the whole Bible. So to me, that's what Yeshua is talking about, is gather, don't scatter.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot better. Culture really helps define it. It really does, because perspective means, someone can be right or wrong, but culture means
Right.
this is a lifestyle. I mean, how many things have we done that we've adopted that Christianity didn't have? The feast days, the Shabbat,
Exactly.
Tzitzit, all of these different things. And, they look at it as Jewish and we're saying, no, it's Bible. And
Right.
that the Jews can't accept us for doing that because we have to convert all the way to Judaism if we're going to do those things. I mean, I listen to this one guy, and the only reason I listen to him is because of cultural perspective. But his perspective is only a Jew can teach the Torah. You have to convert to Judaism to be a teacher. And so I'm like, that's not right. But I want to know what they're thinking, because I need to know that so I can always have an answer for and a defense and apologetics for my faith. And so that's really good, Mark. I really like it.
We are richly blessed to bring you what we believe is the fullest, most diverse, yet up-to-date progressive teachings, discussion, and prayer programming you can find anywhere on this planet. Be sure to take the tour of the MessianicLambRadio.com website. I'm Susan Hoogie, thanking you for joining us on the Messianic Lamb Video Network.